Okay, Matt. Well, we are finally here. It's pretty much the home stretch now of the pod. We've hit the end of the NBA regular season, ready for the playoffs. So, got a lot to break down, a lot to get into. So, I just want to get right into it off the bat. And as usual, kind of throughout the whole basketball season, we talk about the Lakers. So, want to start with them. You know, we'll do a I don't really need to do a season reflection or anything quite yet, but I did want to say that as JJ's first year, I thought I would consider it a pretty successful regular season, right? They get to 50 wins um, in a really tough Western Conference and secure the number three seed. Uh, I don't think a lot of people would have seen that one coming. Like even me, I was surprised at the success we were able to have. I was would have been hopeful for like around a five, six. Just avoiding the play-in would have been really great. But to have not only
Home
avoided the
court.
play-in, but exactly the home court advantage now in the first round is going to be huge. I think, especially for a Lakers team that was one of the best teams at home throughout the course of the regular season all year long. So, like I said, really good. I mean, the whole mind the game pod thing. How things have changed over the course of a year is pretty crazy, right? But
So Steve
happy.
Nash is going to be the coach next year.
Well, yeah, that's not gonna happen. We'll keep JJ, but um, yeah, the success that the Lakers had has been great, even surprising me. Um, and hopefully, we're able to carry this into the playoffs with and going up against the Timberwolves. But yeah, I mean, I think we've seen it throughout the year. We talked about it throughout the entire year. The basketball passion, that JJ has. It was pretty evident, I think, if you watched ESPN over the past several years, you listen to his podcasts and then the Mind the Game with Broad, like it's pretty evident that he was still so obsessed with the game, even though he wasn't a player anymore. Just how he's able to think the game differently. And I think the reason he's been so effective is because he's kind of like so cerebral about himself, right? I think I talked about it way, way back, but a lot of coaches, I think, can get a little like stuck in their ways. Now this worked for me before, and this is just people that have had success throughout their careers coaching or just in everyday life, right? But for someone like JJ to come in knowing like, hey, I'm not gonna know everything, but I'm gonna work my butt off and I'm gonna do everything that I can, give everything that I can, um, and really kind of incorporate everything, listen to the players, listen to his assistant coaches, look at the data, look at the analytics, but kind of being able to mesh all that together, I think is really hard to do, especially in today's age with the players and the media now and the egos that players can have. For him to kind of pull this team together, especially blockbuster trade mid-season, even more impressive. So got to tip my cap to JJ and Rob Pelinka, honestly, for putting the team together. I've been begging for the 3-and-D for the longest time, right? Finally get guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, defenders back like Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, those guys. But um, knock on wood, we're able to stay healthy, and yeah, I think we'll be. I like our chances. I still like our chances to win it all, but let's just get right into that Lakers Timberwolves matchup, Matt, because that is what is going to be the Lakers matchup in the first round. Timberwolves had kind of an interesting year. After coming off of making it all the way to the Western Conference Finals last year, I think a lot of people were expecting the Timberwolves to be in contention, probably, right, for that one seed in the West, but they make the shocking trade, obviously, this offseason, shipping Cat away and getting back, Julius Randle in that exchange. So, and I think, DiVincenzo as well, right?
DiVincenzo for the
Yeah.
Knicks.
So, a little bit of a shocking trade there. I I mean, overall, I'd say it probably worked out a little bit better for the Knicks than it has for the Timberwolves, but Julius Randle's still a quality player. Um, but I think it'll be a good matchup either way. Really realistically, you look at the West, and I mean, everyone's gonna be good. Like whoever's gonna make the playoffs is gonna be good. I don't people are like, oh, we should try to like avoid, like Denver and blah blah blah. But realistically, you're gonna have to play the best to beat the best, or you know what I mean? Beat the best to be the best anyway. So I don't see what's the point of praying or hoping for a certain matchup. Like honestly,
Well, I don't think you can pray, but I think with the Timberwolves matchup, I think that's a pretty good matchup going into the last day of the regular season. What the possible outcomes could have been. I mean, I think there was three options. You get the Warriors, which was probably the most likely at the time. The Nuggets, which is like you avoid them. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna avoid them. We don't have to deal with them. And then somehow they would find a way. Lakers Nuggets first round. What happens if they play the Nuggets and they lose? Like that was always there. And then there was the Timberwolves, which is like, okay, like not that the Lakers really cared, but I think they liked this matchup a lot better than the other two options, at least for a first round matchup. So I would be encouraged, but and Edwards is still there and he's getting better. So you take that with a grain of salt. But I think it's a great matchup for a first round series for the Lakers.
yeah, I think I'm definitely favoring the Lakers. Um, I mean, I probably would have favored them in any matchup in a 7 game series. I still feel that confident. Even the Nuggets, even the Clippers, like
The
it
Warriors, the
even the
Warriors should scare
Warriors,
you.
even the Warriors. I don't know, like a couple weeks ago they were scaring me, and then after, the past performance, I'm like, yeah, I'm not so scared. But I mean, obviously they still got stuff. But yeah, looking at the Timberwolves matchup specifically, Matt, um, I think that the reason I am so high on the Lakers now is everyone's healthy, right? And then that was the biggest thing that I said going into the playoffs is if we can have everyone healthy and by some miracle, right? Pretty much our entire rotation that I'm assuming, the 10 to possibly 11, but more likely going to be around up to 10 guys in the rotation are going to be healthy. And that's really all you can ask for. Playing really good ball now, or in the games that count, I should say, right? They came off the big Rockets win, or Rockets were resting a lot of guys, but that's a game you need to win to clinch the third seed. Do that. The Mavs, right? Take care of business in that return. Luca, I
Luca
mean,
goes crazy.
Luca went crazy. I think we all kind of expected it but for him to still be, that good. Uh, I mean, what else can you say,
Well,
right?
I think it was impressive that he went from, the emotional tribute. It's like, he even said, I don't know how I'm going to play this game. And when the ball is tipped, he turned that switch off and then he turned into the competitor that Luca is and probably gave it to Nico Harrison. So,
Yeah, and I mean, I loved AD, but it's starting to feel now like Luca is the guy that we really needed to get us over the hump. Honestly, had AD, he's been a great player for us. We won the championship in the bubble, but since then, it's been like we just
you
couldn't
hit the peak
quite get
already.
there. Yeah, it's like I think we hit our ceiling, unfortunately, especially if we ran into like if we still had the same team, without Luca, the trade never happened, right? Still have Max Christie, still have Anthony Davis, and say we run into a Denver, I'm praying. Like honestly, I'm praying. Uh, Although the team looked much better this year and they beat Denver, um, I'm still praying that we win that series. But now it's like I'm like genuinely feel like in a 7 game series, we should have the advantage every single time, barring health. That's how confident I am in this Lakers team. Like, yeah. So like I said, playing really good ball. I thought the Thunder series was huge. We were looking at that really tough stretch that they were going to go into, and honestly, came out pretty well after that Bulls game. Only lost 3 games since then, and the Trailblazers game was kind of a throwaway anyway, right? So I thought for them to be able to split with the Thunder was huge. In Oklahoma City too, when they were playing their guys to try to stay competitive. So I thought that was a really big series for them, gain a lot of confidence, and yeah, the fact that we're playing well into the playoffs is very encouraging. Like I said, Matt, but just getting into the breakdown here with the Timberwolves. Couple things, Timberwolves still a really good team, I think, top to bottom. You look at their roster, a lot of that same kind of 3-and-D wing players, right? They got guys like Jaden McDaniels, Nikhil Alexander Walker, right? Naz Reid. So it's still a really quality team. Obviously, you add Julius Randle, you have the vets, Mike Conley, you have Rudy Gobert, and then really athletic guys like DiVincenzo. I don't know how much Rob Dillingham's going to play, if really at all, but a really solid, like you could argue 8 to 9 man to even 10 if they wanted to give some minutes. So still a really high quality team, and obviously you have the superstar in Ant, who seems to elevate his game in the biggest moments. So I think it'll be a fun series. And I think the defensive aspect is going to be really, really fun to watch. If I think if you like defense, this is going to be a really good one. Because I don't think Minnesota plays with a ton of pace, right? Like they don't like to really
Well,
get
they play
out
with two bigs.
and run.
That's like
Exactly. So
untraditional now.
so they don't really like to get out and run as much as some of these other teams. But I think, yeah, like you said, Rudy Gobert obviously a threat inside. So I think the defensive battle in this one is going to be really fun to watch. But the reason I think that I am going to favor the Lakers slightly, it's going to be slightly in every matchup they face, but I just think the Lakers have too many offensive playmakers now, and right, because you have Luka, okay, you have LeBron, but then you add in Austin Reeves, right? Like those 3 guys to be able to create and run the offense at the same time, along with guys that can hit shots now, right? Rui's been shooting it. Dorian Finney-Smith been a little streaky, but if he's on it, like it's pretty much wraps. Gabe Vincent has been pretty consistent this year. So if those guys are going to be able to hit their threes, out in space, and then the offense can kind of just click from there, you know. Plus, I think we're going to see a lot of them trying to switch Luka onto Rudy because I mean we take a look last year, right? Nothing against Rudy Gobert. He's a really good player. I don't think any big is going to want to get switched on to Luka, right? So yeah, that's the thing that kind of scares me. I think I don't know with the 2 bigs, like you almost have to play a smaller lineup. I think if you want to be successful against the Lakers, right? Because Jackson Hayes, he's going to get his minutes, but really they don't need to play him that much. They can go to that
The
death
death lineup.
lineup, right? That you want to call it with Luca, Austin, LeBron, and then you can go any combo of the wings, right? Rui, Vando, Dorian Finney-Smith, guys like Gabe Vincent, guys like Jordan Goodwin off the bench. So that's where I think the Lakers are going to kind of excel because you're really not going to look at Rudy Gobert to kill you offensively. Um, Julius Randle, I think, is going to be the X factor for sure for Minnesota. Like he has to have a good series for them to have a chance. Because if he's not scoring the ball, the other guys are going to get theirs in. Ant's obviously to get his in. But if Julius Randle isn't going to play like the All Star Julius Randle, I think you can pretty much forget it. So I think he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and it's going to come down to our guys if they can lock him. It's going to come down to can Rui hold his own? Can Vandal, well, I think Vandal's going to be on at. Can Dorian Finney-Smith do his thing right on Julius Randle? So that's going to be, I think, kind of the key matchup in this series, Matt. But yeah, like you said, out of all the kind of six teams or five other teams that we could have faced in the first round in the playoffs, uh, I guess I would have favored to play Minnesota anyway. Yeah, nothing against, no disrespect against them, but I just think that we have too much talent. The ball's been flowing really well, and uh, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. So,
Well, I think this series is important for, well, you said Julius Randle, but what about Gobert? Like, I feel like he's kind of like he could be a difference maker for the Timberwolves and also the Lakers at the same time because if he's able to defend, then he's going to be on the floor. But if he's going to be, hunted by Luca, AR, LeBron, like if those guys start hunting him all day and they just take advantage of that, then he's not going to be on the floor. And then you lose that quote unquote rim protection that I guess you could say that's their advantage. Like I would say Nas Reed, yeah, he's a big but he's not I wouldn't call him a shot blocker or a rim protector. He's more of a I would say a scorer to me.
he's not even like 6'10", right? He's like just like a
He's
smaller
like just
center.
yeah, but he's big. Like he's got
Yeah.
some mass, but he obviously he can pick and pop and spread the floor, so that's good. But Gobert, especially with a Luca and especially LeBron, like he's still locomotive going downhill. Like you're gonna need somebody to contest his shots, but if Gobert cannot guard on the perimeter, that's trouble. I
hmm
think that's good for the Lakers, but I think that's going to be a huge thing to watch as you go on in this series because I think JJ is probably like, oh yeah, like he's like licking
I
his
think
chops right now. Like
I think that they're gonna try to space the floor, like you said,
yeah,
as
I
much as
think
possible.
Jackson Hayes might not play that much. It's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith at the five and
And
LeBron at the five.
sometimes that's how it is, right? That's when it comes down to you have to be able to match up and exploit your opponent's weaknesses. And if we can go essentially that Celtics offense, right? That 5-out offense, Rudy Gobert, he can't plant himself in the paint if we have five
Mm-hmm.
guys out in the perimeter, right? So yeah, I'm not worried about really the preparation. I think game one, the Lakers will have a game plan and they will be ready. It's just going to come down to if we can hit our open shots.
Yep.
If we can hit our open threes, like we should win. Most of the almost every game, I think, especially in this series. So
I think
looking,
LeBron is going to be like he's going to be a chess piece in this one because I think LeBron. Don't be surprised if LeBron is guarding Gobert. Like I think Jackson Hayes probably he'll start right, so he'll probably start on Gobert. But then when the Lakers go small, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron guards Gobert because he can kind of float right. He's a
well,
when LeBron is
he's kind of been throughout his career, right? Like when they go to these small lineups, he's usually the one that ends up on the big. So
yeah, but it's like you could put. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith, he can. I guess he can hold his own. But like Gobert is not a like he's not like Jokic, right? He's not gonna post you up. He doesn't have a post game. Like
right.
so, if LeBron is kind of just playing center field, just kind of helping out where he needs, because when LeBron does that, he's he's pretty good at that. So
hmm
that's kind of his chess piece. So I feel like especially with Luca now, like the ball is not going to be in LeBron's hands. Even like if it was the old
Yeah.
Laker team,
If
like you have AD, you got
mhm.
Austin, LeBron. Like primarily the ball is going to be in LeBron's hands. I don't care what you say, but now with Luca, JJ's going to be okay. Luca, you're Luca Doncic. You're the 26-year-old superstar. Like you're option one on this team. Like you go be you, and then LeBron's going to be like, "No, I got no problem with that. Like I'm gonna, I can help out in other ways. I can dictate tempo. I can use my brain to outthink everybody. I can play defense a little bit more now. So I think the energy will be conserved to the fourth quarter, and then we'll probably see some LeBron explosions. But I just think LeBron is really he's now the chess piece. He's not the focal point of
Hmm.
the offense where he was for the past 21 years of his career. So this is going to be exciting. I think it's kind of like it's a new LeBron, like in a
New
sense in the
LeBron.
postseason. It's like
It
he's
is.
not the number one guy, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think I'm excited. And I also want to see Jared Vanderbilt too, because he's probably going to play like 10 minutes. But
But
Jay's going to
just
tell him,
play
like, you go
hellacious defense.
harass and
Yeah.
you can get 5 fouls in 10 minutes. I don't care. But you make Ant work his butt off for
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I completely agree. That is like, that's why you gotta love Vando, man. Like, he's gonna go get like offensive rebounds. He's gonna go after loose balls, and he's just gonna be annoying, which is exactly what you want uh for a guy on your team guarding the star player on the other team, right? So last thing though, Matt, that I want to talk about, and there's no hiding this, right? But obviously, the superstar that Luka is on offense, he does not translate to that same level on the defensive end. We kind of saw it against the Celtics in the finals, right? It was tough for him. He still got his buckets, but you know, any five of those Celtics could have taken him one on one, and it wasn't going to be fun, right? So I think now they've had some time to prep, but how are they? I don't want to say hide Luca, but how are they going to use Luca? Are we going to see some zones get thrown out there, right? Is it going to be just switch heavy and see how well Luca can do? Because as much as I don't want, or as much as I would want Luca with the ball against Gobert, if I'm the Timberwolves, I want Anthony Edwards with the ball against Luca, right? So that's going to be kind of that last, I think, chess piece for the Lakers to figure out. Not concerned though. I don't think effort is going to be an issue in the playoffs for anyone. And I just hope Luca has played enough now to kind of get that conditioning, kind of in for. So maybe now it's like his regular season, because it's like he didn't get to play that much. But yeah, hopefully he's finally in condition and up to speed for the playoffs because I'm really excited for this Lakers team. And yeah, like you said, they ended up with a pretty decent side of the bracket too. They don't have to go into the Thunder if they get out of the first round. Presumably, they're going to be playing against Houston, or we'll see. We'll see who that 7 seed is going to end up being. I have my predictions, but we can get into
Yeah.
that. Um,
You avoid the
well, yeah. I
Nuggets,
mean, we
the
can get into that.
Thunder, and the Clippers are hot right now. So that's
Yeah,
that's a good draw. It's a
yeah,
good
really good
draw.
draw for the Lakers. So, but yeah, I do want to touch on the rest of the play
You
in
want to give a
and the
before we
projected.
get in, do you want to give a prediction of the series?
Oh, the series. Oh man,
Lakers
what Unk
in
say? What Unk say? Lakers in five.
T
Lakers in
Wolves,
five.
Werewolves, Timberwolves, Lakers in five.
Yeah, what Unk said, man. Lakers in five, and like a genuine Lakers in five. Honestly, feel really good about, and especially because they have home court. Give me Lakers in five. So yeah, feeling pretty good. But getting to the rest, Matt. So we'll hit the play-ins first on each side, and then kind of with our projected winners, we'll move on and do a quick preview. But we can probably get into it a little bit more next week because then we'll know who the play-in, playoff matchups are going to be. But let's hit the play-in first. So we'll start with the East. Because I feel
Is
like
anybody gonna watch the East
yeah,
play?
that's how it good. No offense to the Eastern Conference, right? Lots of respect for you guys, but we'll start off with that first because the 7-8 games go first, actually, right?
Yeah, that's
So
tomorrow.
we got the Hawks perennial play-in team against the Orlando Magic, competing again for a playoff spot. So I mean, this one's going to be interesting, Matt. To me, it's kind of a coin flip either way. I'm not leaning really super hard either way. If I'm being completely honest. Um, but if I had to pick one, I don't know. I think I'm gonna just take. You know what? I'm gonna take Atlanta. I'm gonna take Atlanta. Uh, just doing a quick check, right? Forgot. Jalen Suggs is out for the year. Uh,
Yeah, that's a huge
Obviously
loss.
Franz and Paulo are gonna play. I think they're questionable, but they're gonna play, right? So I think Jalen Suggs pretty big loss there. But I don't know, something about Trey Young, like he just finds a way to get it done sometimes. I really also really like Dyson Daniels. Uh, what do they call him? The Great Barrier Thief. I think that's a great name.
A
But
very long nickname.
yeah, and there's just something about Trey Young, like in these one game instances where he can just have a game and pop off and let it. That'll be enough to carry the team. So, um, I'll take. I'm gonna slightly favor Atlanta. I think, even though they're in Orlando.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with you. I was gonna pick the Hawks simply because of Trey Young. He just seems to have
I just like
like
he
one or
has the
two
moment.
games.
Yeah,
Like they're not gonna make a deep run. I don't think any of these Eastern Conference play-in teams are gonna make a deep run. But to get out of the play-in, yeah, I think Trey Young is good enough to beat these three teams that he potentially has to match up with. So I think it's gonna come down to, crunch time. And who do I trust with the ball in the hands of more? Ben Carroll, I haven't seen it yet from Ben Carroll.
I also like Franz
Wagner,
though. I
great player. I
I
mean,
like Franz. I
those
like
two are
they
great.
got yeah they got
Can build
something.
around them. KCP is a good vet piece, but give me Trey Young when it counts, man. I think I think he gets it done. So I'll agree with you. I think the Hawks win and get the 7th seed. And
Okay.
then luckily for them, they would potentially play the defending champions. So my condolences, I guess I should say, because
I mean, but you can never count on Trey. Well, I guess it's really Milwaukee, right? That yeah,
it's
their
the
number, but
Knicks.
or it was the Knicks. It was the Knicks. Yeah,
The Knicks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I guess we both have Atlanta then. Um, and then that last 9-10, Chicago and Miami. I mean, the other two like perennial play-in teams. It seems like that. Um, Man, really tough because honestly, Chicago's been playing some pretty good ball.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick against them. Oh man. I just can't pick against Spo. I don't know, man. Like I have the faith. Maybe it's like ill-fated at this point, but I
So,
can't pick against Spo. Like,
mm,
they haven't been playing great. Obviously, the whole Jimmy thing kind of messed them up, but man, you still got Tyler Hero, you still got Bam, right? Like, you still got some good pieces there. And in a one-game series, I don't know. Give me Miami. It to me, this is another coin flip. Probably the smarter thing is to pick Chicago because they've been playing well. I've seen it with my own eyes. But I'm gonna stick to Miami. I'm gonna stick to my
okay.
Portland pride and pick Eric Spoelstra. Go Pilots.
Okay, respect. But I'm picking ZO2. Um, I think the Bulls win this one. And you
Oh,
said
Lonzo's
it.
not even playing though, right? Is he
Yeah,
even
I know,
playing?
but
Oh, okay.
but he's on the
Jeez.
team.
I guess. Nah, it's Kobe White. In Kobe White
Yeah,
we
Kobe
trust, man.
White's team. But
That's his team.
ever since they traded Levine, it's been the Kobe White show, and he's been kind of
Hey,
going
Matt's
crazy.
stoked, I
And
bet. Matt's been stoked.
oh yeah, North Carolina. Yippee. But I think the Bulls get out of this one because in simply this one, they're the hotter team. And Miami, kind of a messy season. The Jimmy Butler thing was kind of a big deal. He was your franchise player for the last 4 years, I think. So anytime you lose your best player, it's not it's not going to be great. I'll say that. So as much as
Yeah,
I want Spo to do
I'm
well,
picking. I'm picking with my
but
heart with this one.
yeah, I'm going to pick the Bulls. But either way, I don't think the Bulls get out of the play-in because I think Orlando, if they lose tomorrow, they'll win again at home over the Bulls or the Heat. So they'll
Yeah,
get the eighth seed.
I was gonna say I'm probably pretty confident in Orlando also being the one to get the eighth seed, regardless of who it is. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna take Orlando against Miami. So that's kind of my picks. Um, so we'll check back in next week because luckily we'll have time, right, to review the all of the seedings, I think, before the games are played.
Well, the game starts Saturday, the official playoffs. Lakers play Saturday.
Oh, that's right. The Lakers do play Saturday already. Okay. Um, but did they announce when the other, like the first and second seeds play? Oh, on
The They
Sunday.
play on Sunday because the
Okay.
play-in team
Okay.
needs rest.
Okay. So we'll assume, okay. Oh, nice. We can get to pretty much all of our stuff. Okay. Um, well, we'll jump over to the West then. Are you? I'm not gonna say the more interesting side, but the more interesting side.
It is the more
Um,
like let's be real. Everybody's gonna watch the Warriors Grizzlies game and then
oh yeah,
okay, everybody else, good luck.
yeah. So, getting onto that topic, Matt, Warriors and the Grizzlies. It's gonna be an exciting one, but I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer for me. I'm taking the Warriors.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
taking Steph. I'm taking Steve Kerr, and I'm taking
I
Jimmy and
concur.
Draymond. Right. Sorry, Ja. You're gonna have to wait to throw your grenades for I think the next game, because yeah, I think Steph's gonna be the one dropping bombs tomorrow. So we'll
Yep.
see how it plays out. It's still gonna be a really exciting matchup. Grizzlies still a really good team, even with kind of everything that's gone on with that team throughout the course of the year, right? But for them, I mean, they really just missed the play in by what was it, one game too, and I mean, they still got Jaw, they still got Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain plays well, and Zach Edey has been nice for them, so they still got a really good team on paper, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun one for sure, but
I think the Warriors, especially too, like obviously we're talking about them, or at least like the talk shows, they're gonna talk about the Warriors, but I know they lost to the Clippers. They get knocked out of the playoffs to get the rest, but they would have played the Lakers in the first round. I'm just saying, if you take care of business tomorrow night, they would play the Rockets, an inexperienced, unproven playoff team, talented, but we just don't know what they have or what they're going to be in the playoffs. And I said they remind me of the Grizzlies a couple years ago when the
or
Lakers played them.
the Thunder last year.
Talented, yeah. So we just need to see it, and it's going to be an experience versus youth thing. And Steph, Draymond, Steve Kerr, Jimmy Butler, like all these guys have playoff experience, championship pedigree. So I'm just saying you take care of business against the Grizzlies, you have to kind of like that matchup, I think, versus going up against LeBron, Luca, right? Like anytime you avoid LeBron, you got to like your chances, I think. So the Warriors, yeah, tough. They don't get the playoff rest, but the matchup is still favorable if they can
Still
take care of
enticing.
business. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you there, Matt. Um I'm gonna take the Warriors. And then that 9-10 seed, I guess you could say, Kings and Mavs. I mean, this one I feel like is gonna be a pretty interesting one too. My gut just I'm gonna maybe I'm gonna pick with my heart again, but I want to take Dallas. Um
Yeah.
the Kings are probably the better team overall on paper. And that it would just kind of just put Dallas, the Dallas fans out of their misery already. Like just kill the season already, right? put them on. Don't let drag it on and give string them along, give them hope. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna take the Mavs in an upset here, just because
Wow.
I don't know. I think if because AD is gonna play, right? I'm pretty sure AD
AD
is
is
gonna
playing.
play.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to go
And
crazy
I
if they're
think
going to get out of this.
he's gonna do his best to just like go nuts for one game, give it his all, and upset the Kings. Like I said, this is kind of the same thing that I'm doing on the Eastern side where looking at the Kings roster, they're probably the better team. I mean, Zach LaVine's been playing well. DeMar DeRozan, they've been playing, pretty well as of late. Uh, I I really like Sabonis. I'm just gonna pick the Mavs. I just think AD is gonna have one generational performance, um, and upset the Mavs. Or I'm sorry, upset the Kings, and then probably I think Memphis is gonna beat either of those two teams again. So it doesn't really matter who wins this one, but I'll I'll take the upset. I'll pick with my heart again, which is
All
probably
right.
wrong.
Well, I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna pick the Kings because
Yeah,
one,
that's
they're at
probably the right.
home.
That's
They
probably the right
play pretty
decision.
well at home. You know, their whole like the beam thing is it's cool, kind of corny sometimes, but you know what? It gets them going. So I'm gonna pick them. They got DeMar, Zach LaVine, Sabonis. Like I think they have too much firepower, especially without Kyrie Irving for Dallas. But
Yeah,
that's where their ship ends too, because I think Memphis or the Warriors, whoever loses, but we're saying the Warriors win that 7-8 matchup. So Grizzlies play again at this time at home in Memphis. I'm gonna take the Grizzlies and this. I think the
yeah,
grit and
that's fair.
grind get out of that in an ugly win. So I guess yeah, in the West the seedings will stay as is in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So we pretty much agree on how the playoffs are going to be set. And I think it's a pretty good I think it's pretty likely it's going to play out how we expect. So with that being said, why don't do you want to kind of get into some of the potential matchups then? In that case, Matt. So
Well, we have some of the ones in the middle seeds that are
yeah,
already
so we
locked
have
up.
the middle seeds already locked up. We'll start with the Eastern Conference first, Matt. Uh, I guess yeah, we'll start with the matchups that are already determined, and then we can kind of speculate from there. But two really interesting series, I think, in the Eastern Conference. We'll start with that Pacers Bucks series, and I don't know, man, something about the Pacers just have Milwaukee's number sometimes. Giannis, and the Bucks like now without Dame for how long is it going to be the foreseeable future now? Without Dame because
I think there's a report that they said that he's probably gonna come back at some time in the playoffs. I don't know what that means, whether it's like game one or just sometime in the first round series, but there's a chance that he comes back. Like I think he might be back on the court. I don't know if it'll be game one of the first round series, but I think he'll come back. But then again, how is he going to be with that's a pretty serious thing to come back from and just be thrown
yeah,
into the
just
fire
yeah,
game one of a playoff series. So I don't know. It might take him a couple games or like to get his feet wet, but by then it might be too late. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I really think Giannis is the best player on the floor, like hands down. He's gonna dominate, and they didn't have him last year. Remember, I think Giannis was hurt
mm-hmm,
last year, and Dame was
mm-hmm,
the guy. But as much as I think Giannis is the best player, I just think the Pacers have a little too much around them. The supporting cast is a little better with Siakam, Halliburton, and then I think Matherin's playing pretty good this year. Um, they have nice pieces, I think. So I think the Pacers are gonna stomp them again.
yeah. I think It's this one is really hard to predict without Dame. I think Dame is a huge piece. You know, Kuzma's been okay for them.
I
Um,
cannot sold on Kuzma. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, it hasn't been the blockbuster thing. The only thing that really has been giving me faith somehow is Kevin Porter Jr. because he's been playing really, really well. No, I mean, he's been playing well for that team. Kind of has found his groove again. I just think
Torian
if
Prince.
yeah, I mean honestly, they got some guys, right? And yeah, like you said, Giannis gonna hands down be the best player on the court. But in a 7 game series, you know, Giannis can't do it all. We've seen that. I mean, we've already seen that now in this exact same matchup, right? So I think Dame being healthy would have been a huge swing. It would have made it. I think I would have leaned Milwaukee just a little bit. But now without Dame, and like you said, serious injury for him to bounce back from. I can't buy into the Bucks. As much as I want to see Giannis go far, you know, into the playoffs, I can't pick the Bucks without Dame. So I'm gonna agree with you there. I think it's gonna be Indiana. So uh yeah,
I'm
we'll
just saying the
both gonna
Bucks have
take
to
that.
watch out. Like if they lose, I mean, Giannis is pretty, vocal about, they have to be contending. Like if we're not contending,
And
I'm
there's
not
no
gonna
loyalty
sign.
anymore, right? So you
Yeah,
never know what's gonna happen now.
you want honestly, I'm gonna be cheering for the Bucks because I want to see Damian Lillard win. Like that's the
Yeah,
homegrown boy. Like he did so much for
I'm cheering for the
Portland.
Bucks too, man. But
Like,
I don't think
come
it's
on, guys.
yeah
Like, let's
as
get
much as I want
Dame
it to happen.
one
But
ring. But yeah,
no,
I think the
okay,
Pacers are too much for them right now.
I agree. Same here. But I don't know. Maybe it'll. I think it'll be like a 6 game series. Depends if Dame comes back or not. But I think it'll be Pacers in 6. So
Yeah.
okay, well we're in agreement there. Looking at the other Eastern Conference matchup that is set, Knicks and the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons. Kudos to them. They've had a great bounce back year. You know, for going back, oh, is that a few years ago, or was it? I can't remember if it was last year or a couple years ago now when they had that Wingstop
It was like
promo.
two two years
And
ago.
they
Yeah, it
they
was like two
just
years ago.
yeah, and they just it was just sad because they weren't getting any wins. But hey, 44 win year for this Detroit Pistons team, obviously led by Cade Cunningham, having a breakout year, looking like that number one overall pick that we expected him to be. That it I think it similar, right? A lot of these younger teams that have found success and have bounce back years kind of run into a team that's a little bit, you know, has a little bit more vets, a little bit more playoff experience, knows these types of situations more, and that's kind of the end of the Cinderella story. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks here. I think Detroit is a little stingy, but I think the Knicks get it done in I'll say like 5. I'm pretty confident in this one. Um,
Nixon fine.
yeah, I think they'll all be close, like gritty. Those it's Knicks Pistons, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be physical. Got Isaiah Stewart in there. Like it's gonna be a physical one, but I think that the Knicks are gonna take care of business. Just the late game execution. Jalen Brunson has been really good in crunch time the whole year, so I'm gonna take the Knicks over the Pistons. But I think each game is going to be pretty close, but I'll take the Knicks.
Okay. I think on paper, probably the Knicks have the talent. This is gonna be my upset pick. I think the Pistons, I think they match up pretty well with the Knicks. You said they can play kind of any way you want to. Like it's just gonna be ugly. Like Isaiah Stewart, physical. I'm just saying, like, Cat has not responded well to physical play in kind of these playoff series in the past. So,
Yeah, Jalen Duren's a beast.
like
Like
Durant,
they got the
scrappy.
other Thompson, who's
Yeah, Asar is playing
Asar.
well.
Asar honestly might be the better offensive player. Like I think he's like just a little more polished offensively, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Almond gets more of the hype. I don't know if it's just because he's in Houston or what, but
Yeah. But
I mean,
I mean,
Asar is still a dog too, and they
they
got
have
guys.
guys. I think,
Schroeder,
yeah,
Beasley was like
Malik
number
Beasley's playing
two
well.
and threes or something this year.
Yeah,
So
I just think if they get it to 7, I think the Knicks are gonna feel it just a little bit. And with Thibodeau, I think honestly Thibodeau might be coaching for his job this series. Like
I agree.
if they lose this series, he might be the scapegoat. Um, but with that, I think Cade is he's on the rise now. Like he was always, he was the number one pick in his draft class, star at Oklahoma. Was always pretty consistent, but this year he's really taking it up a notch, I think. So I think he's gonna accept that challenge to match, if not outduel, Jalen Brunson on the other side, because that's going to be the star power, the head of the snakes for both teams. So I'm excited. I think Cade's going to be up for it, but I just think the Pistons, in a sense, they're, I guess you could say, bad boy style of basketball. Trying to replicate the Detroit bad boy Pistons, right? Like grit, play physical. And I just think I'm just Cat just does not respond well to physical play, and I think Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duran, like they're going to impose their will. I think Pat's going to still score a lot, but he's going to have to work a lot for his points inside. So I just don't like that matchup. I think Pistons in 7.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Or sorry, I don't agree. But I do agree. I meant I agree with that
The takes, but not
they're gonna
the
kind of be
outcome.
bodying. They're gonna be bodying Cat a little bit, but I don't know. Cat's been in the playoffs. He's experienced postseason play. Like he's been there. He's done that. Still a really good player. I just think it's gonna be the same of a little bit of inexperience. Even though they got some vet guys, it's gonna be that Cade's first time in the playoffs. He's gonna get a taste, and they'll be back next year. But I still got the Knicks in this one. You'll
Okay.
take the Pistons, so
Take
it'll
the
be interesting.
Pistons.
Um, and I'm just be honest, man. I'm gonna keep it real short for my other two. I think Cleveland and Boston are gonna win, no matter who they play. Like pretty easily. Like
Honestly,
Cleveland
both
has
of them
looked,
might win in 4.
yeah, they might win in four. Cleveland has looked been so impressive all year. Um, we've kind of seen it now over the past several years, but you got the two dynamic guards, Max Strus, who's a solid player, and then the two bigs, right, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, along with a lot of depth and shooting off the bench.
DeAndre
So
Hunter's a
DeAndre
good pickup.
Hunter, big pickup for them. And yeah, like I said, they got a lot of shooters off the bench and guys that can play tough. So I like the Cavs and obviously Boston. I mean, the defending champs, they're bringing back pretty much everyone, right? They've just been pretty consistent throughout the entire year.
Yep.
Not much more
They were
that,
just coasting through this
yeah,
regular
not
season.
much more that needs to be said for this Boston team. Yeah, I think we're both pretty easily taking Cleveland
And
and
Boston.
Boston. So
Yep.
now it's pretty easy. Okay, perfect. So now we can move over to the Western Conference, Matt. Um, where should we start? We'll start since we already hit the Lakers. We'll hit the other series that's already set. Nuggets and the
This is a
Clippers.
good one.
Woo, this is gonna be a fun series. And honestly, couldn't go wrong either way for me. Whoever wins this one, perfect. Probably the two teams that were really a little bit scary for me, right, are gonna now have to play each other. And either way, I'm gonna be pretty happy with this outcome. So let's get into this one. We kind of touched on it already, but Clippers have been playing really well, right? They've been playing some pretty good ball. Um, and then obviously the Nuggets, Jokic coming off of another potential MVP season. I don't know who's actually going to win the MVP, but uh, they know how it goes in the playoffs already. One-time champions with them. They're pretty healthy. So I mean, Jamal Murray came back is going to be back, right? That's a big piece for them. So the Nuggets, they're going to be ready to roll. But on the flip side, Kawhi, man, Kawhi's turning back into like old Kawhi. It's kind of out of nowhere. He's like he's reborn again. So anytime you got a healthy Kawhi playing like how he's playing, and the evolution of Norman Powell, arguably should have been an All Star this year, and we know what James Harden can do, obviously for that offense, right? So I don't know, like you can't really count out the Clippers either. They got a lot of depth. Ben Simmons kind of forgotten piece in there, but he's there with the Clippers now, and he's gonna do his thing, I guess. Zubac is solid. They got Derrick Jones Jr., another like guy who just somehow is constantly undervalued throughout the league. And Bogdanovich, right? So they got this is gonna be a good matchup. I think this one is gonna go seven, honestly. I think it's gonna be a really good series the whole way. But if I had to pick, I can't pick against Nikola Jokic in a 7 game series. And the key is they got the home court advantage. I think that's the slight edge because they are the 4 seed, right? So they're gonna get the home court advantage throughout the series. Give me Denver in 7 for this one.
Denver in 7. This is probably the hardest series
Probably the hardest series
to
to pick.
pick because the only thing that for Denver, like you fire your coach, a championship winning coach this
But I
late
don't
in the
know.
season,
It didn't seem like something was gelling. I don't know.
it's just I don't know, something wasn't working there. The only reason that I could possibly pick the Nuggets is because of Nikola Jokic.
And
He's the
I mean, that's a
the
pretty
best
good reason,
player,
though. That's a pretty good
but
reason.
man, the Clippers, they're just deeper right now. Like Kawhi being healthy is a huge factor. The only problem with the Clippers, and it's Harden. He's playing so well right now. Every time in the like, I'm just going on track record. Big games, Kawhi. I mean, not Kawhi. Sorry, Harden. It's like you go back to Houston, Brooklyn, even in Philly. Like it's like there's a track record there of him not showing up in the big moments. So I just need to see it, James. And as much as like analytically, I would probably pick the Clippers. I I just can't pick against Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic in crunch time because I think every game is going to be close,
Yep.
and I think those two guys are just going to say, "F it, coach, let us do it. Everybody get in the corner. Me and
We'll
Murray's gonna say
go pick and
me and
roll
you,
or
me and
reverse
you,
pick and
yo,
roll, however
like
they do it.
this is our
Yeah,
time." And
I
I just
agree.
think, with Zubats out there, possibly could get exposed with the playoff matchups and
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and I just think they're going to be hunting. They're going to say, hey, where's James? Where's James Harden at? We're going to come at you in the pick and roll." So yeah, I think the Nuggets in 7 is a safe bet.
Nuggets
But
7 for you? Okay. So
yeah,
both agree with them.
I
Like I
really,
said,
really want
though,
to pick the Clippers, but it's like it's just
for me, I don't
James,
care.
man,
I don't care. I'm gonna be happy either way. Like if Denver's
and
out, great.
Westbrook.
Clippers out, great. Like,
Just don't let Russell Westbrook shoot in crunch time. Do not let him touch the ball. If you're Denver, do
yeah.
not let Russell
I remember I was
Westbrook.
getting killed for my Westbrook takes before.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
had probably the most boneheaded play in the past, like what, couple weeks of the regular season, right? With
yeah. When he
that,
fouled, was it Alexander Walker? I think.
he fouled I forget who it was, but he fouled a 3-point
I'm pretty
shooter.
sure it was.
And
Yeah,
before that, instead of
he blew
holding
the
the
layup.
ball, he blew the layup. Like, first off, you're up, hold the ball, pull it out.
Nah,
And he,
let me just short arm this layup right
yeah,
here. It's okay.
yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, hard to bet against Murray and Jokic.
Okay. Well, let's kind of preview the other two, Matt. So if things go according to how we think they're gonna go, right? We both have the Warriors winning that first play in, and then the Grizzlies winning the second playing game. So that means if it all plays out, we are going to get the Rockets and the Warriors, and we're going to get the Thunder and the Grizzlies. So
Oh, let's start with the Thunder one.
yeah, let's start with the Thunder one. Pretty confident in the Thunder
Yep.
in that one. Assuming it is going to be Memphis. And like I said, things are changing. I think even if it's the Dubs, I'm going to slightly favor the Thunder. Like they've just been too good all year. If there's anything I learned about Boston winning last year, is that sometimes, like players are just too good for their reputations. Like Derek White, Drew Holiday, they kind of helped when Jason Tatum wasn't having the best time, right? Last year. Jalen, who's the finals MVP last year? Jalen Brown, right? So kind of yeah. The Thunder, it's like, oh, they're still young, they haven't been there, blah, 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 blah. But let's really look at it. They've been the best team all year, right? Like they've just been that good in the West. And they're really deep. And Shea is probably gonna win the MVP. So not gonna overthink it too much as I think, Memphis is gonna put up a fight. I gotta pick the Thunder. Even if it's the Dubs, like I said, I'm taking the Thunder.
Yeah, I think, well, we said Thunder Grizzlies. If
Yeah.
it's that, I think Thunder in five, just being nice. Too good. If it somehow is Thunder Warriors, that's a pretty entertaining series. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll give the Warriors an extra game. I'll say Thunder in
6.
six. Yeah. But okay, so we say the Thunder move on. Now it gets interesting with the Rockets.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun
If
one.
they play the Warriors, I'll say. If they play the Grizzlies, I'm gonna
I'm taking
lean towards the
Houston.
Rockets. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it shakes out like we think it is, and like I said, this is a little hard because we're kind of predicting a playoff matchup. But if it is Rockets, Rockets Warriors, Matt, I don't know. I think it's gonna be tough. Rockets really, like you said, really good, really talented team. Um, Ime has done a really good job with that group. And they got a nice mix, right? They kind of got that mix of the vets. They got Van Vliet, Steven Adams is there helping them out. And they got a lot of young athletic guys like Jalen Green and Alvin Thompson, arguably like some of the two most athletic guys in the entire league right there. Right. And they're in the
Jabari
same,
Smith is
yeah,
athletic.
Jabari Smith, like they're all right there. Dylan Brooks is going to be the villain, right? Bring the attitude, bring the tenacity. Like they're built really well.
They got a good center.
Oh yeah, Shangun All Star this year, right? He's evolving. Like I said, if it's Memphis, I'm taking Houston easily. But man, something about Steph, man. Like he's still. How can you count out Steph in the first round? Oh man, and nothing. Like I said, nothing against the Rockets. They got the guys. They got the vets there. I think they're gonna put up a fight. But man, I gotta take the Dubs in 7. I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a good series. I still think Houston at home is gonna play really well. They're gonna steal one on the road, I think. But I got the Warriors.
Dubs in seven.
I can't take. Yeah, I can't pick against Steph, Draymond, and now Jimmy in the
Yep.
playoffs. I just can't do it, especially against the Rockets in the first round.
Yep. If it's this matchup, and like I've been saying for quite some time, at least from the All-Star break, the Rockets remind me of the Grizzlies a couple years ago. Like they're just that young, talented team, up and coming. They're right there. They can compete, but they're young. We haven't seen how they can play in a 7 game series. Can they beat any team any given night? Yeah, of course. Probably anybody in the league can do that. But it's a 7 game series. It's a chess piece. It's a war. Like, you gotta adjust game to game, quarter to quarter sometimes. So are they equipped to do that? Are they smart enough to combat the Warriors adjustments? Because they've been there. They've been through how many battles, you know, over the last decade. And with the way that Steph Curry is playing now, like if Steph Curry is playing like how he was first half of the season, yeah, I'd probably lean towards the Rockets, honestly. But he's played night and day.
Yeah. And
Way better in
he's
the
been
second
hot.
half. And he's hot. That's his thing. That's scary. I think that should be scary for any team that plays the Warriors. That's just why I think the Lakers are in a good spot. Like
Hmm.
they avoid that. At least to potentially the second round.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think the Warriors, if it's the Rockets, I think the Warriors play that Lakers role against the Grizzlies and they upset them. And I'm gonna pick Warriors in six. Warriors in six with the Rockets.
Okay. Well, sounds like
And then it's gonna be Steph and LeBron in the
Steph and LeBron
conference
again.
semifinals.
Okay. Well, yeah. Before the playoffs start, Matt, I guess we'll give our long shot finals predictions. I'm gonna stick to mine. I think it's gonna be Lakers Celtics. So give me Lakers Celtics and let Luca get his revenge and the classic Lakers Celtics rivalry ensue and LeBron wins his fifth chip and he passes, I think, Jordan in the GOAT debate, winning a ring in his 22nd season at 40 years old with Bronny. I mean, how much more storybook can you get right there, right? So I'm gonna take the Lakers over the Celtics in a 6 or 7 game series. I know it's
All
a little bit
right,
far,
that's
but
fair.
that's what I'm
And I really
projecting.
hope that's the case because I want GOAT James to silence all the doubters, leave no questions in this GOAT debate already. Go get number five. But I'm gonna pick the Thunder. As of right now, I'm gonna pick the Thunder. They have earned it. They just completely dominated this regular season. Yes, they had some peaks and valleys, and they're not as hot as they were, but their whole body of work says that they are built. They are better than last year. I think Shea is playing at a higher level. Obviously, probably going to be MVP. So I think, especially now with Chet, kind of he missed some time. Maybe this will kind of get his feet wet now, and then he'll kind of take off again. And then Jalen Williams is playing well as that kind of second option now. But I think Caruso and Hartenstein is a pretty big, addition over the offseason. They bring that kind of grit and grind, that defensive mentality that you need in the playoffs. And I think the Thunder, like their team defense is number one. So as we've seen, defense wins championships. So I think the Thunder represent the West. I'm with you. I think Boston represents the East. There's just as much as the Cavs are enticing, it's hard to pick against the defending champs when they literally return everybody. They're healthy. They have the chemistry. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick Boston to repeat. Only Boston in six, I think, over the Thunder. But
Okay,
man,
Boston in
there's so
six.
many spicy matchups that, especially if the big hitters can get to the conference finals. I think, but oh my, Lakers Celtics would just be NBA dream of ratings. I cannot
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm excited for this year's playoffs, man, because this is the best LeBron. This is the best seed LeBron's had since he's been in Cleveland. Well,
uh-huh.
actually, I take that back. It was the bubble, but it's like that was like neutral floor for everybody. So, but LeBron has home court in a series in the Lakers uniform. What? This is
Yeah,
something
I
new.
know. I'm so excited. Um, oh, we'll see, man. It's gonna be a fun one. These playoffs kicking off. I think each series is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. So
I think
yeah,
so.
we'll sit back and see
Just
how
need this
how it
plan
all
to be
plays
done
out.
already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a lot of basketball. Majority of the pod. We'll get into some other items though that we need to talk about. Don't talk about golf a ton, but when we do, it's probably because it's a major. And in this case, it was the Masters. So, Masters weekend, a lot of drama, a lot of fun. Came down to the last day. We went to a playoff. and Rory finally gets his Masters win. Uh, Finally gets that green jacket, completes the career Grand Slam now, cementing himself up there with all the greats. You know, I think you can argue he's probably now the guy of at least this kind of generation, if you want to call it. Completing the Grand Slam really hard to do, but yeah, just want to talk about that last day, probably, Matt. I mean, um,
I
I
was watching that. That
wasn't,
was
yeah, and I
insane.
was kind of watching more towards the end more than anything because I think I looked and I was like, he's up. Well, he was up like 3 or 4 strokes or something.
I
Like,
saw Skip's tweet when he was
well,
up big. Like he
yeah,
was
he
like,
was,
"Oh," but he basically said, "Oh, it's in the bag already." Like
yeah,
Rory got, and he was already like halfway through his round.
yeah, he was through the front nine or something. He was up big, right? Like he was up
Like five
like
strokes, I think.
3, 4, 5 strokes, something like that. And I thought it was pretty good. And then I kind of looked back on Twitter or something, and it's like, wait, it's like we're on the 18th now, and they're tied. Wait, well, him and Rose are tied. What happened? So I kind of tune in then to that last hole. Um, and he's right there, right? He chips. I think he chipped out of the bunker right on 18, put
Yeah.
himself in position, and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, here we go. Rory's finally gonna do it. Um,
That was a beautiful chip too. It's
Beautiful
like
chip
holy
out,
makeable
um,
putt.
and he pulls it. I'm like
My mouth was like,
so
I think I
so sick.
gasped.
I think all it was a collective gasp of everyone that was cheering for Rory to win around the world had a collect like sigh or oh my gosh or some kind of like reaction because even I couldn't believe it. I was like, and I don't follow golf a ton, but I know unfortunately Rory kind of has that stigma sometimes of like
Can't
it's right
finish the
there. It's
deal.
right there for his taking. It's right there. And yeah, he can't finish it. Even going back, I think it was last year, right? When DeChambeau won. I think it was US Open, but Rory just, kind of lost it at the end. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, don't let this be like the same thing that happens. Because this one would have really been brutal, right? To be up as many strokes as he was in the Masters, the one tournament he hasn't won, right? To complete the Grand Slam and for him to choke the lead away essentially would have been devastating, I think. Um, so yeah, he misses that putt on 18. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I thought that was gonna be it. Like, you know, obviously I'm not a professional golfer. We don't know that kind of grind mentality mindset that goes into being one of the best in the world. But I think you saw, right? Like that's what it takes sometimes. You gotta golf.
Golf is
It's not
strictly
over.
mental.
It's not over until it's over. And
Golf is so mental.
the next hole is the next hole, man. You gotta be able to push it away, um, and go on to the next, especially when it becomes that playoff round, right? Um, and I mean that was an entertaining playoff hole to watch as well because I think they both had pretty decent drives, right? Um, Off the tee, and Justin Rose hits a pretty good second shot. I mean, honestly, it was pretty decent. But Rory, I mean, for him to clutch up and just hit a beauty, um, right, was just perfect. But I mean, it got intense too because even Rose had a chance at that birdie, right? I think he pushed it, right? He
He
pushed it,
just missed it.
just pushed it right, tapped in for par, and then Rory gets his second chance, right, for birdie, taps it in, and I think you could just feel the weight of the world
You
just
could just see it in his
relief,
face like
and
before.
right,
Like just
and
in the 18th hole, it was like, oh my God, he's like he knows like the weight of the world is like
exactly, and
on this putt.
I really can't even imagine it, Matt. Like, you know, I can only compare it to kind of like how NFL kickers must feel in those moments, right? You're down two or you're down one, and this is it. you gotta hit it to win or lose. There's no tie. There's no right. Like it's it you gotta hit this. And for Rory to, finally take his time, hit that putt, it was just great to see because sometimes, right, it's great when guys win and there's so much joy and they're so happy. But for Rory, I mean, the relief must have been
Hmm.
like can't even imagine like how much relief and just to be able to let it out. Like it's something about guys that I mean, I think back to one of my favorite baseball players, right? Clayton Kershaw. For him to have his narrative, right, of being one of the best regular season pitchers of all time, can't get it done, can't win the World Series, can't get it done, right? And then in 2020, that you can call it whatever you want, Mickey Mouse, whatever, blah blah blah. It still counts as the World Series ring, right? But when that final pitch, strike three was called, just kind of see him running onto the field like just looking up and being like, oh my God, it finally happened kind of thing. And I think that's kind of that similar thing for Rory, where all the expectation in the world, all the talent, culminating to that one shot, one putt. Um, and it must have been in slow motion for him, like that whole moment. Um, you could see it, right? The tears in his eyes, uh, like the joy, the relief in his face. Must have like he can finally breathe now. I think no matter what happens for the rest of his career is just gonna be cherries on top, right? Like he
Yeah.
finally did it, um, cemented himself as one of the all time greats now. So hats off to Rory, man. It was a great tournament, and for him to battle like he did, wasn't really in contention, bounced back, had the rough fourth fourth round, back half, and then yeah, got to tip my cap to him for that.
Yeah. How about Justin Rose too, man? He just kind of came out of nowhere, it seems
Yeah,
like.
I think
And
this they
he
said this is his second
runner
loss
up.
too. Yeah, or something like that. So I mean, still really
Yeah,
tough for him
him.
too.
DeChambeau had a pretty tough finish too. Like he was in content. He was like right there, honestly, through the first
First
three
three,
days.
yeah,
But he tough. I mean, it's kind of like I want him to win. I think he's definitely good enough, but sometimes his putting really does hurt him at the end. So man, he just plays well for 3 days, and then the fourth day, it's like, wow, Bryson, what are you doing, dude? But I think he's like knocking on the door. I think he's one of those guys that you could see him winning a Masters in the future sometime.
yeah. Okay. Um. Well, I think that'll be good for our Masters talk. Um, have a little bit of time we can get into some baseball here, Matt. Um, Kind of rough patches for both of our teams, honestly. Luckily the Dodgers were able to bounce back today, but man, it was not a fun week of Dodger baseball like it should be every week with our payroll and our talent. We should be winning a lot more games, and we need to win a lot more games because the NL West is a freaking bloodbath. So I mean, the Giants are going into Philly now. They're winning. We're third in the division, right? Padres are scorching. Giants are playing well. We're currently third in the NL West. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the Dodgers have not been playing really good ball as of late. Um, Lost a series against the Cubs, got swept by the Nationals, which was pretty ugly to see there. So it was a nice win tonight against the Rockies, but we're still not firing on all cylinders. Got a lot of things that still need to get cleaned up. Um, Before I get into the ugly, I want to talk about some of the good things that have been happening. Mookie's been hot, which is really good to see. Shohei's been getting on pretty consistently, offensively. Tommy Edmonds, you got to steroid test that guy? I don't know, man. I don't know where all this power is coming from for him. And obviously the defense is Gold Glove worthy. Uh, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think it has cemented himself as the ace now. Like, just looks so comfortable out there every time, and you just feel like he got over the hump last year and is really going to get to shine. And Dustin May, bright spot. Like, he looks great. Now through three starts, has like a 1 ERA. His stuff is nasty and moving. So got to tip my cap to those guys on that end. But too many negatives, Matt. Defense has been poor. Uh, Too many mental mistakes, physical mistakes out there on the diamond. Um, Max Muncy, where is our offense? Like, he has been non-existent. Teo's a little bit banged up. Oh, sorry, Will Smith also playing really well, by the way. Forgot to shout him out. But I mean, some of the other guys, man, like mainly Andy Pajes, I think is the biggest question mark right now in terms of roster spot. Like, he was playing really bad defense. Wasn't hitting the ball at all. Kind of saved him by having a one or two good games against the Nationals, hitting home runs. He had a really nice play against the Cubs, right, where Roki pitched, kind of took a potential, I don't know, double or triple away. So he had one really nice play. But I don't know. I don't if he's going to continue this. I think his leash is getting shorter and shorter, and we might see Outman come back, or maybe Hyesung Kim, which I think we're all kind of looking forward to seeing anyway. So maybe that's going to be the next solution for us. But yeah, got to hit with runners on. I mean, pretty simple baseball stuff, right? But you don't like to see us. Oh, sorry, we didn't get swept by the Nationals, but like losing 2 games to the Nats. I know they're young and they're hungry, but we can't be doing that. I'm sorry. Um, so yeah, it's been ugly. The bullpen started off really great, been a little bit shakier as of late. I don't know if that's because we're going to them so much more often, but I mean, I still, trust in this team. It's a long season. I will say that, right? 162 games. It's only April. But a little bit of concern just because I think we need guys to start waking up pretty soon and start producing because we should be favored in almost every game we play. So I think that, yeah, we need to win just to keep up now with the other two guys. So
I think it's
yeah,
kind of
can
crazy
never be
that you
smooth, huh? Can never be
kind
smooth.
of crazy. You guys have what is you guys record now? Like
We're
11
12 and
and
12-6,
okay, 12 and
and we're
6.
third.
Yep. You guys would be the number one seed in the American League with that record.
Yeah,
That just
and we're
shows
third place in
how,
our own division, so
yep.
that's fun.
So if my team was 12 and 6, I would be like, yeah, this is, on 2 out of 3 games, basically. Like, this is exactly what we need to be doing. That's not the case, which is why I'm not really happy. But at the same time, as bad as it's been, we are technically half a game up in the division
At nine
somehow
and seven,
at 9 and 7
nice.
after a win today, but still not playing well at all, honestly. Like the bright spots, kind of the I guess you could say the usuals. Like Judge is hitting well. I mean, he hasn't homered, but he's still hitting well. I think nobody's really worried about Aaron Judge, especially after what he showed last year. It's like he can look like the worst guy on the planet for 3, 4 weeks,
Hmm.
and then he's still gonna finish with the home run leader, like which is basically taking a month off, or everybody gets a month head start, and he still wins. It's like he's just in the prime of his career right now, so
Hmm.
he's doing his thing. Um, but Ben Rice has been really good out of the leadoff spot, kind of important. I think maybe he can stabilize the leadoff position that we have not been able to do since DJ LeMahieu was healthy and younger. um, but I think, as long as he keeps hitting, Aaron Boone's going to have a difficult decision when the Giancarlo Stanton comes back. It's like, where is he going to play? Because you can't just bench a guy that's just scorching hot like this. You got to find a way to play him, whether it's first base, catcher. Like, I mean, he can play I mean, ideally, it'd be great if you could play third base. So I don't know. Maybe he can. So maybe they're working undercover or something. But as long as Ben Rice keeps hitting, it's going to be a great problem to have, and I have no problem with that. But Ben Rice has been good. Luke Weaver, kind of our guy, Yankee fan favorite. He's been good. Max Fried, the big pitching acquisition, he's been solid now. He threw an absolute gem his last outing. So, that's the good. Um, but the bad is still kind of, basically everybody else. And in particular, I'm going to look at the starting rotation. Outside of Max Fried, might be the worst starting rotation in baseball. I don't watch a lot of the other teams, but my goodness, it is hard to watch our pitchers pitch. And granted, Carlos Carrasco did well today as a number five. I'll take 5 innings, 2 walks, and 1 earned run against Bobby Witt being a home run. Like that's I'll take that from a number five starter any day. Will Warren was shaky, but his last start against the Giants was probably his best start of his career. And with the way the Giants are playing, that's a pretty darn good, performance. But the guys that I'm looking at that really, it's like, okay, Will Warren's a rookie. Carrasco probably not going to be in the rotation, at the end of the season, right? He's just kind of here until the cavalry comes back. But the guys that have just been just brutal is Marcus Stroman, who is now on the IRL list. So it's kind of like, not that I want him to get injured, but it's kind of like the best for both sides right now. Like Stroman has looked terrible. Like I think it's best for him to just reset right now. Maybe somebody will trade for him, but it's just not working right now as a starting pitcher. But Clark Schmidt's coming back, luckily, so he's taking his spot. Much needed acquisition there, but the biggest flame out to me, and I'm so sick of this guy already, is Carlos Rodon. Like he every time this guy, like it's like he looks so good, he can look so dominant, and then he just loses it every single game for like a 1 or 2 inning stretch, and then he'll come back, basically go 9 up, 9 down, but the next inning it's like he forgets how to pitch and locate. It's like I just don't understand the roller coaster that is Carlos Rodon, not just through a season, but it's like in game performance. And it was on display the last 2 starts. I mean, against the Tigers, we could have won that game or been more competitive, but he's just throwing meatballs down the middle. It's like, what are you doing? And then against the Giants on the weekend, like we should have won that series with him. They had a 4-1 lead. He's into the 6th. He's dealing and then loses the plate and then throws the most hanging curveball or slider that you could throw. And Young Ho Lee puts it in the bleachers. Like, just enough is enough already. Like, I think Yankee fans are really fed up with him, not just speaking just for me, but if we give you the big contract, Garrett Cole is down for the year. Like, you have to step up. Like, you're the veteran in a sense in your prime. Like Max Fried, he's been great so far, and we kind of know what we're gonna get from him, at least from consistency. But Rodon, man, like, come on, dude. Like, this is your 3rd year. Like, I'm not gonna baby you anymore. It's not your first year. Oh, gotta get used to the Bronx. Like 2nd year, it's like, okay, he's gonna bounce back. But this is year 3 already. Like, too many inconsistencies. Like, I just don't think he has it to be a number 2 guy anymore. And I think a lot of Yankee fans, we were wrong about you until you prove us right, because I was really hyped up when we got him. I was like, wow, Carlos Rodon, San Francisco Giants, he's Cy Young candidate year after year with the White Sox and the Giants, but he has just been a complete disaster. Um, yeah, just not good. And then you go to the back end, Devin Williams is supposed to be our anchor down there, but he's looked like Clay Holmes for the first couple times out. He did get the save today, but it's not clean right now. Like as a closer, you want everything to be clean, 3 up, 3 down, or maybe you walk one batter, maybe you give up a single, in an inning, but you want to look dominant and impose your will. And guys just look way too comfortable up there. Like seeing his changeup and for sure seeing the fastball. So it's a work in progress. I think we need to see improvement. I hope it gets ironed out soon, but it's not looking good right now. And that, especially with the offense being very, very inconsistent. Um, yeah, like I said in our season preview, we're not equipped to be a World Series team as currently constructed. Now, knowing Brian Cashman, I hope he sees this and he sees this as an opportunity because we're right there, obviously, with everybody else. So let's go separate at the trade deadline. We're, a pitcher away and we're a hitter away from hitting our stride, I think, in the long run. But right now, we're just kind of treading water. Doesn't feel great, but, I'm not going to panic just yet, but not as high as you are right now. Being at 12-6 versus 9-7 right now. It's not a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's still not a great feeling being third in the division,
Yeah,
but
but I'd rather be in third and playing great baseball than be in first place and not playing good baseball. Like I think it's more important to play better baseball, especially at this time. Like it's April. Like we're not in September, late September, fighting for seeding where it really, really matters. Like right now, we want to see our teams just play good baseball, not necessarily worried about the standings. Like I just want to see this team really start to hit a stride and get going. But the Yankees are not doing that right now. Like we don't look consistent.
yeah.
But you know what? At least Aaron Judge is the Team USA captain. That's probably the
Yep.
best news that we got.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, man, if everyone plays, US should be pretty good. So hopefully
Uh,
we'll look forward to that.
yeah, hopefully, like Mookie plays. I want to see Trout play. I want to see Bryce Harper play.
Trout,
Like I
Harper,
want the OGs in
Tucker,
there.
like, yeah, they should have some pretty good guys. You got
Uh,
Carroll,
Bobby Witt,
Bobby Witt, Gunner, um, all those guys. And then our rotation should be pretty nasty. Skeens,
Skeens, and
Scooble.
Screwball is all you need.
I mean, yeah, I guess
That
so.
is disgusting right
Neil
there.
them one too. Um,
Bullpen. Let's get Luke Weaver, Josh Hader, like
yeah, it
Devin Williams. I guess you could
should be a
say
good. It should be a good.
Blake Trinan.
Trying it. Yeah, it should be a good team. So
If everybody plays,
if
but it's
everyone
like
plays, it should be a good
Team
team.
USA, they always struggle with the pitching though. Like I don't think their lineup is going to be an issue. It's more that like they sent out Adam Wainwright game 1 last year. Like
Mm,
no offense to Wainwright, like he's a great pitcher, but you kind of want your big guns, especially with the other countries. Like they're bringing out everybody. Like Japan, they're everybody's coming out for
yeah,
Japan, and Dominicans, they're bringing out everybody. Puerto Rico brings out everybody. So yeah, we just need the pitching, man. Obviously, Paul Skeens and Screwball, like if they both play, like oh my, like Japan's going down, like with Skeens and Screwball.
uh,
So
need some revenge.
yep, Shohei had his moment. Now it's maybe Aaron Judge will get a taste of victory for once because I don't know. Or he'll be riding high from his World Series win and say, you know what, I like this winning feeling. Let's continue it in the World Baseball Classic. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's exciting for Aaron Judge. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
He's earned it. He's earned it.
Okay. Um. Well, Matt, I think that's pretty much gonna do it then for our main topics. Covered a lot of basketball today, so why don't we get into some of our quick hitters here? I'll let you start us off with our Jerry Jones Award.
All right, Jerry Jones Award winner this week. Probably I'm gonna say NCAA football, and I'll put a slash Nico Iyamaiava. Some of the stuff that came out with his reporting, and I guess being quote unquote dismissed from Tennessee, and he's gonna hit the portal in a couple days. Like, what happened to college football, man? I mean, like, he's a college student getting paid $2.5 million in NIL money, and he's trying to hold out. Like, come on, bro. Like,
This is the
this
fear.
is
This was the
like
fear.
this is like what is not supposed to happen. Like, great, yeah, they can get paid, like they're endorsed, fine. But this is like, this is like NFL contract holdout kind of stuff. Like, no, like college football, the glory of college football was always about representing your school. And then you go on to the NFL, you do well. And then, the NFL, that's like your full-time job. So
Hmm.
obviously you're gonna play well in your rookie deal so you can earn that big payday or that second and third contract, right? That's what guys are playing for. But man, in college, like, especially if you're Nico, like, you're already highly talented. You're on a good team. You're coming into your second year as a starter. You went to the playoff. Um, like, kind of everything was right there for you. And bad luck that you're skipping out on the reports say team meetings and stuff like that. Like, you're the starting quarterback of your team. Like, you're supposed to be the leader. Like, that's just, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm gonna say that's pretty damn selfish. Um, so I have to give props to the coach. Like, he's establishing like, hey, I don't care if you're the biggest star on this team or you're the water boy on the bench. Like, there is nobody that is above the Tennessee football program itself. Like, I respect that. I'm sure it's a tough decision because he's still a talented football player, and you're gonna have to replace that. But man, college football is looking just a little ugly now, I think, with this news about Nico.
Yeah.
So tough one to hear. Because man, when we were growing up, that was like the glory of college football. It was like, wow, I couldn't wait to watch college football. And I still like, I watch Hawaii, I watch Oregon, but it's like it's not the same sometimes. It feels like more of a business and more, these guys think that they're better than they are at this point in their age in their life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just kind of sad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this doesn't become a trend across college football because that's the last thing that we want. I think.
Yeah, so
Um,
let's make sure Michael Alejado doesn't hear
yeah, I
anything.
agree. Okay. Well, why don't we get to my fan tribute here, Matt? Um, I just wanted to shout out. It was a WNBA draft today, so I'm gonna shout out to all the women that got drafted today. Congrats, ladies. Go and make it happen. Go and grow the league. But obviously need to touch on Paige. Like she's been in the spotlight for so long now, and she does go number one overall. She gets to go to Dallas, like I said. Um, you pair her up with Enrique down there. It's going to be a fun backcourt to watch. Hopefully, the Paige will bring views to as much as Caitlyn has. I think Paige is going to be right there next to her with that stardom, and hopefully they have a nice little rivalry that will help build the league. So that'll
Yeah,
be fun. But have to touch on who went number two, Matt. So I don't know if you saw any clips of Dominique.
I
What's
have
her last
not.
name?
Not gonna lie.
Malonga, I believe is her name. Her last name.
She's
She's
from
from
Europe,
France.
right?
She's from
Yep.
France. Tony Parker, I believe, has said she is the Wemby of the WNBA. Like, you just got to go see one clip. There's one clip of her that I saw on Twitter, Matt. She was 16. She's 19 now. She played in this past Olympics for France. I think she had like 15 and 10 against the US. So, all at doing this at 19 years old. But There's a clip of her. She dunks easily at 6'6". It's like it's a fluid one. It's not like, even though Brittany Griner is like six, she's what's like 6'9" or something. Like even when she would dunk, it's like she's like kind of just getting it up there, right? Nah, this girl is fluid, Matt. It's kind of nasty. She has this one training clip where she's taking it drop step spin into, it's just a nice little easy whoop, whoop, like that, and I'm like, oh no, that's not normal. So watch out, because I think we're gonna see some pretty good some dunks this year. It's gonna be interesting because yeah, this girl's athletic, man. Like it's kind of nuts. Fluid 6'6". She's super young at 19, so she's gonna be way younger than probably like
The rest
almost
of the
the
league.
rest of the league essentially. Because so many of them, right, you could do like 3 years or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be it'll be interesting, Matt. So watch out for her. She's in Seattle now, and I mean Seattle contenders, right? So gotta watch out. I think she's gonna be a surprise. But yeah, shout out to all the ladies that got drafted tonight. Um, and yeah, good luck. So that's my fan tribute.
All right. So last one, sports fact. We're recording on April 14th. And in honor of the Masters, we'll go back to 2019 when a guy by the name of Tiger Woods. Hey, yeah, I
Mm.
think everybody's kind of heard of his name. He won his fifth
Oh, was
Masters.
that 5 years ago already?
Yep, 5 years ago. Not 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right?
6 years ago? Wow.
Yeah. Tiger Woods. That was one of the craziest moments in at least our golf memories
Oh man,
of
that was one of the best things for me.
ended that
Yeah.
11-year drought winning after kind of the off the off
Everything
the
that
course
happened.
issues,
Everything that happened.
just goat stuff
Yeah.
from Tiger Woods there.
Okay. Well, glad to see Rory be able to do it. Cement, like you said, cement himself, Matt. But yeah, it'll be a good week of sports. This weekend's gonna be jam packed with NBA action. Tomorrow's game is gonna be real fun to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back next week to break down how the games have gone so far. So gonna look forward to it. It's gonna be our last stretch run here of season 4. So stay tuned. But as usual, guys, we appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Have a good week and stay safe. We'll see you guys next week.